Making vegan Thai red curry. So we're going to start with coconut oil in the pan on medium. And we want enough to fry our curry paste in and not burn it. Alright, so we're adding red curry paste. This is a Thai style curry paste. And add a little more than a tablespoon. You have to get a feel for how spicy you want it. We just want that to fry and get a little color. Fresh lemongrass here. Actually, it's been in the freezer. It keeps well that way. And I'm going to cut it into 3 large pieces so that I can fish it out of the curry later. And we're going to add some yellow onion. Now, this is truly up to you what shape you want to use. I like wedges for this so that it adds a little texture. If you want to use purple onion, it gives you beautiful color. And if you don't like a lot of onion flavor, white onions are a little sweeter. The curry paste is starting to smell really fragrant, and you can see it's getting a little color in the oil. You don't want to burn it, just want to get it nice and hot and toasty. The lemongrass in the pan. I'm going to go ahead and drain. These are rehydrated shiitake mushrooms, and I'm going to drain them so I can use the liquid. So once your curry paste is getting brown, you can add liquid to the pan. We'll call it about 1.5 cups of liquid. And then you can add your onion. The heat's at medium. Alright, and I got a bell pepper to use in this. Something that adds a lot of lovely color and sweet flavor, but it's usually terribly expensive. But today they were on sale. So you want to clean out the ribs and seeds, especially the seeds. And then again, this is really personal preference with shape. I like to cut them in half lengthwise and then make strips. If you're ever wondering what size to cut something, it's nice to think about what size you'd like it to be when you're going to eat it. So if you don't want giant pieces of pepper in your curry, then go ahead and cut them into the size that you'd like to have them served. Let's see how we're doing over here. So I'm going to make sure that my curry paste is dissolved in the mushroom broth, the soaking liquid. Our curry is starting to come to a simmer, so we're going to add coconut milk. This is a great brand, but whatever you can find. And make sure that you are using whole coconut milk. And usually it will say on the can this can be used for making curry. Add that.
Go.
Okay, our peppers can go in. And then I'm going to look over these dried shiitakes for size and make sure that they are small enough and give them a rough chop so that I don't have any pieces that are too large. Okay, these look good. They can go in. So when you're cooking with cast iron like this, it's actually better to be patient and let the temperature come up slowly, because if you crank the heat and then it gets hot, it takes a long time to cool off again. But they're great heat distributors. I'm gonna add some seasoning to the curry. Fish sauce is important. The brand does not, but I like to look for one that's just fish and salt. And this one also has ginger, which is nice. A little bit of soy sauce or tamari, and a little bit of hot sauce, whatever your preference is. You can also use sweet chili sauce, but we'll start with this. And I usually start with about a tablespoon of each. If you don't like fish sauce, use less or don't use it at all. And then you can taste it later after it's cooked and see how your seasoning is. It's good to be cautious at first. Not only do you not want to make it too spicy to eat, but the fish sauce and the soy sauce are both super salty. So it's good to let it cook for a little bit and see how your seasoning goes. I'm also going to go ahead and add about half a lime worth of juice, and I'm going to save the other half for finishing at the end. You get two different flavors, one for cooked lime and one for fresh. Okay, so we have a really nice simmer going on the curry here. It's a good time to stir, make sure nothing's sticking. It's looking good. And this is also a good time to start tasting the broth for seasoning, making sure it has enough salt, enough spice. It's tasting good. I actually think it could use a tiny bit more curry paste, which because it's such a good format, it's easy to add more. So I'm just going to add a teaspoon of curry paste and give it a little stir there. Make sure it mixes in and let it go. And I'm looking for the vegetables to start to get tender. I'm not going to add the tofu until the very end. So I'm going to make some garlicky kale to go alongside the curry. I'm going to start again with some coconut oil in the pan. And then I have washed fresh kale here. And the easiest way for kale that's this age with the old stem like that is just to grab the stem in one hand and pull the kale off the other end. And then kind of check for big pieces of stem, which will be tough. But other than that, just tear it with your hands and you're ready to go. The other way to do it when you have giant stems is to hold the stem and tear the kale off in the size pieces that you want. So I have a pile of kale here. You always want about 4 times as much kale as you think you need because it shrinks quite a bit. And I've got a pan here hot with a lot of coconut oil. And the water from washing the kale is going to help it steam instead of burn and fry. I'm just going to start packing it into the pan. And just fit in as much as you can. As it cooks down, you can add the rest. If you have a huge pile of kale and you want it to steam, you can use a lid, even if it's not the right size, to help press it down and trap some of the moisture. So we've got the curry going here. It's got a nice simmer. It's a little fast. I'm going to turn the heat down about half a number if you're using an electric stove. Then give it a stir. And then I'm going to check my seasoning again. Tastes good. So I'm prepping garlic to go with the kale. These are fresh cloves, peeled, and then I'm going to trim the ends. And then I'm going to cut these into pretty large pieces because I want to see them in the kale. I like a lot of garlic. Okay, So that's ready. Once our kale is mostly cooked, if you put the garlic in now, it'll burn and give you kind of a strange off flavor. So you're gonna wait until your kale is almost totally cooked, and right now, as you can see, it is still mostly raw. The curry I'm gonna turn down even a little further to a medium low, and I'm gonna go ahead and get the tofu ready to go in. If you're adding tofu to curry, using an extra firm tofu is a good idea because it will hold together. I love the Twin Oaks extra firm, which is local to us here. And because it's already extra firm, you don't need to press it or worry too much about draining it. And then once again, personal preference when it comes to size. I like nice large pieces that don't get lost in the curry. Okay, and we'll save these until we're almost ready to eat, and then we'll stir them into the curry. So I'm going to add the tofu to the curry. And just stir it in so that it's all coated. And then over here we've got the kale that's looking ready for garlic. Garlic in with the kale. Just give it a stir. It's got a little bit of liquid left in the bottom that's going to cook off here. And leave the lid off. And then I've got some jasmine rice. So next I'm going to get our toppings ready, lime juice, and a little cilantro that I'm just going to wash and chop. Okay, this is a good time to hunt for your lemongrass pieces and pull them out because nobody wants to chomp on that, and we're looking for 3 of them. I'm going to add a little salt and a little bit of sesame oil to the kale. Almost all the liquid is cooked off. Toasted sesame oil is a very strong flavor. I personally like it only in small amounts, but that's definitely a personal preference. And greens have sort of an inherent saltiness to them, and so it's good to start off light on the salt.
Voila!